everyone, and welcome to 2-Player Quest, where I help you on your quest to find the best 2-player board games for you. In today's video, I have Firefighters on Duty by Artipia Games. In Firefighters on Duty, you save lives, fight fires, and manage a fire department in this real-time dice rolling game. It's up to you and your fellow players to manage a whole fire department, from incoming distress calls to fighting fires. But is it a good game for you, and how does it work? Well, let's answer these burning questions together. Firefighters on Duty is a game for 1 to 4 players that plays in 30 to 45 minutes. Now, if you take into account the setup, then I agree with the statement that it takes about 30 minutes, because if you are only taking gameplay, it would be less than that, as there are technically 6 rounds of 2 minutes, so that's 12 minutes, some things in between rounds. So I would say it probably takes about 20 minutes to play the game and then 5 minutes to possibly set up the game, but that all just depends on how quickly you're going through certain things. It doesn't actually have a weight yet on BGG because it's still quite new, but a game that is similar by the same designers and same publishers, which is Project Elite, is at a 2.49. Now, Project Elite is simpler. This is simpler than Project Elite. So I would put this anywhere between a 2.1 and a 2.3. So still quite a simple game. And it is medium to high luck. It's all dependent on the dice rolls, but if you're not rolling the things that you need, you always have the strategy that you make along with your fellow team players, and you also have your fellow players that can come help you out, as it is a co-op game. So medium to high luck. This is what the board / basically your table can look like at the start of a 2-player game. Now on my right hand side we have all the tokens, dice, cards, everything else we need, but not in the active round. We have the red player over here, and down here I have the current blue player and their dice. The game comes with handy dandy player references that tell you how to start stuff. So I will walk you through the game using the round overview card. You start by refilling the fire hydrants. That's these with dice. You can pick those up when you are adjacent to them. You turn all inactive fires upright. That doesn't happen in the first round. And then comes the action phase. So this is where you have 2 minutes. So you set a timer for 2 minutes. You have a timer for 2 minutes. And within those 2 minutes, you roll the dice as many times and use the actions that you roll. So starting off with the water symbol. When you roll the water symbol, you add a water die to one of the 2 supplies of the fire stations. So there's one here and there's one on the other side of the board. Next, we have this gear. You can activate a vehicle's ability as seen here, or one of these abilities. Now, if there's 1, that means you only need 1 of these gears. If you need 2, you need 2. You always only have 2 die to roll. Then we have the red vehicle moving, in which case you take your vehicle or one of the communal vehicles. So your vehicle is the color of your board, so in my case this is blue, and the communal vehicles are always grey. And you can move that vehicle 1 step. So for example, I move this 1 step over here. Now, vehicles cannot be on the same spot, nor can they jump. So if this vehicle is here, this one cannot get through. And lastly on these dice are the yellow figurines. Those are these figurines. Now, you can place these figurines in your vehicle to take them with you, and that is a free action. And dropping them on your spot is also a free action. But with this yellow die, you can move a firefighter with 1 part of equipment, for example. So you have fire hoses, which you need to fight fires, or axes, which you need to get rid of debris, like this one, for example. If we were to be here and want to extinguish this fire, you'd need to have a person with a fire hydrant, the hose there, and a person with a fire hose here, because you need to link the fire hose to your fire truck. Now at this point, you need to roll a gear and then you can roll to extinguish the fire. Now in this case, you can see by this sign here, it needs a 4+. So you can choose as many dice as you want from your water supply and roll them. And in this case, you need 4 pluses to hit. Now, this is a fantastic roll with 6 and 5s. So in this case, all of this fire is now gone. Another thing you can also do when you've rolled a yellow person, you can move the person with another person. So you have injured and uninjured people on the board. You need to get these to safety. In those 2 minutes, you can roll these dice and do as many actions that you have rolled as you want. If I did not want to want these actions, I just re-roll and take the action I do want, for example. And you continue on trying to achieve your goal within those 2 minutes. Now, in this current scenario, the goal is to endure 6 rounds without losing. You lose when you have to take away all 4 of these points. And that happens in the next phase, which is the fire phase. First, you check for casualties. So for example, this one here is in fire. It is a person in fire. Now, unfortunately, if you have a person in an injured person in fire, they die. If anybody dies, then that's the end of the game. So in this case, that would be the end of the game. But if we're going to quickly say that that person is not there, it is safely waiting outside. But for example, one of your firefighters was there, then they would be returned to the supply and you'd get rid of one of your tokens. Then you trigger hazards. So there are certain hazards on the board that would be triggered, like this explosion, for example. This is the moment when you trigger those hazards. This is also the moment when you take certain smoke hazards and you make them smaller, because the smoke is pulling away. This is also when you answer distress calls, which is these. And lastly, we have events. So if there is a spot where you have 3 fires, then you get an event of that color. So in this case, it is a green block. So you take a green event and you do what it says on the card. Then next, the fire grows. So every spot that has fire gets another fire. So here, this one gets another fire, more fire, and then you have the fire spreads. Now the fire spreads has several rules that you can make easier or harder, but if you use the normal rules, you roll for every spot. So for example, this spot, these need to be like this. They are inactive fires. You roll for this spot. This is a 3. Normal rules, it says 3 is fine. It's 4 up. Unless there is a firefighter, then it is 5 up. If you roll a 6, they immediately take 2 fires instead. And then you advance the round marker, which is here by the hospital. Now you can use the fire engine, fill that up with water and use it to have extra water available. Or you can use the ambulance to go and pick up injured people and uninjured people to get them to safety back to the hospital. And that is how you play Firefighters on Duty. You need to fulfill your mission, which in this case is endure 6 rounds without losing. But depending on the mission type, you can sometimes need to extinguish all fires before the end of round 6. It all depends. Teaching Firefighters on Duty to new players will take you anywhere from about 5 to 10 minutes. It's really great if you have 2 players who already know how the game works. So you can have one player who is setting up the scenario and then have a different player who does the explanation for the new players. So you can get going quite quickly that way. If you like real-time games, then this could be interesting for you. So it's a real-time dice rolling game, so you also need to sort of like rolling dice. But if you like that chaos and temporary stress environment of a real-time game, then this could be good. If you like a game like Project Elite, which is the same publisher and the same designer, then this is an excellent extra game to have. It's a bit more family friendly, not only in theme, but also in the actions. It's a bit easier. So if you want a game to play with older kids, so sort of teens, I think this would be great fun for a game night. we really like Firefighters on Duty. We sort of already knew that that was going to happen because we really liked Project Elite when we played it and reviewed it. I'll link it up here. And this is from the same publishers and designers. So we already knew, okay, this is probably going to be very similar. Now it's a bit of a change of theme, which is fine by us. The gameplay is essentially the same. So we already knew we were going to like it, and we still do. Me and my husband, we both sort of thrive on the chaos and teamwork in this game, and we really like it. It really is a good game to sort of get your blood pumping, get you sort of into a gaming mood, to then after that play a different game. That's what we've been doing most of the time. So yeah, we really like it, and I expect it will be in our cupboard for a long time coming. So this game works well at every player count. It has separate books for different scenarios for every player count. So 2 is over there, which is what is set up, number 3, number 4. So you have scenarios that are based on the amount of players. Even then, we think this game is better with more players. It's more chaos, it's more fun, it's more teamwork when you play with more. There was more to do when you play with more players. Having said that, it's still a great game for 2. We still really like it for 2 players, but we just think it's better with more. And that brings us to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching our review of Firefighters on Duty. If you want to see another one of my reviews, click up here. If you have any comments, feedback or suggestions, feel free to put them down below, and I look forward to seeing you next time on 2 Player Quest.